Anyway, time's dragging on. This is a longer video where I stopped my last uploaded short. Someone was questioning the purity of my wanting a young female worker or partner even, and keeping it pure. Well, if we become successful and she takes it beyond that, hey. But yeah, up front, I need a young lady, aggressive person that'll go get the business that Mrs. Crabapple or Mrs. Appleby or any number of other females that I've encountered, especially recently, but a history of lifelong government conditioning has made me the bad guy. Because they had all this innuendo of affirmative action, building the affirmative action conduit and tyranny and this and that. And do you really want the history of what I know? Because it's vast and very infinitely pointed. I am super intelligent. I was told when I was young that I was like an Einstein. So I could dive you into the deepest, darkest corners of our reality easily. But it doesn't serve my purpose. But let me give you an example of why I need a young female partner. An associate. When I built this, I went around driving all over everywhere I can think of looking for a real gauntlet, which took me through a lot of small boutique and resale shops, especially in Morristown. And every instant, with every encounter with all these females, they looked at me with one glance as I walked through the door and they scowled. Or they wanted to ignore me outright. There was a resistance there, engineered by the government. They can deny it, it's there. If you want to open doors pleasantly and successfully, this day and age, you get you a young, pretty female that wants to be rich. And hopefully she can see through this repetitive taught nastiness of social contortion that the government has mastered. That makes me the bad guy. Because, that's the excuse. It's the pentagram plan of the affirmative action conduit, which is just individuals that are turned into facets of a mighty, ever-spinning drill bit that drills into individual people that have been targeted for exclusion and normalcy within our country. You can deny it. I don't care. It's not my motives. It doesn't bother me anymore because I have worked and scratched and clawed my way above that hubris as best I can to where I've psychologically adapted and put aside all of that and still now walk upright, look them in the eye and say, hey, I need something. Do you got it or not? What's going on? How you doing? Nice day. And either they're going to help me or I'm going to turn around and walk away either way. Doesn't matter if you're man, woman, or child, cop, politician, religious guru, whatever. And that's that. It's just, it is what it is in my world. And, that's what I did looking for a gauntlet for this. Actually, I started out calling these chalices, which a chalice is a cup. But in a world like mine, where I'm trying to do 100 different things with pennies and suffering an imposition of a paralysis poverty pimpdom. And yet, on the other hand, you got these people that are pillarized. The government gets them in the affirmative action conduit and puts them on their individual pillars. And they're everything from soldiers to cops to successful business people, sign printer people, specialists that knows the education of everything. And you sit there and watch their videos and you see their corruption behind their presentations. And you know how they got where they are, and they're morally desensitized and corrupt. And they're smooth. They are the smoothest characters you could ever encounter. And they have the pertinent information that you would like, but they're never going to give it to you straight because they know they're guardians of the corruption. And they are successful, and they wield the powers of whatever you're interested in, whatever it is, whether it's scuba diving, buying a boat, getting a bank loan, fighting the government, having to defend yourself in the crooked courts, everything. And, you deal with it. And I guess somehow the hash was settled a long time ago to where I myself get pushed to a certain point and may be harmed, but I survive, and somehow I still come out paralyzing the corruption. They have to stop at some point. I'll never escalate a Branch Davidian, that's for sure, or a shootout as my final demise in life. Hopefully I'll die old in bed, or say screw you all and drive my yacht out into the Atlantic Ocean in a hurricane. Who knows? Who cares? But I learn as I go, and I've learned, if you want to sell 20 shopping bag holders to Mrs. Crabapple at the resale shop in Sevierville because that's Dolly's territory, if I walk in, they're going to scowl at me and say, no, we're not interested. You look like a problem, and you're the enemy, and you've caused the world's problems. Now, if I have a young compadre, a young smooth weaselette who's got her shit together, excuse my language, and wants to be rich, she's got choices to be rich. She can go be an adult sex model, an adult entertainer, and they will pump and dump her ruthlessly every day and give her $1 million. And they won't stop molesting her. And I followed all sorts of stuff. And you can see the condition of these people. And I don't watch a lot of porn. Once in a blue moon, I'll watch a little just to gauge what society is, where we're at, and what I'm looking at as far as a general consensus that's around me. Because I'm kept poverty pimped and immobilized and paralyzed. It's Sunday. I would have went out driving if I had money, but they don't want me to take in a lot of society too much at once because it is an ugly scene. Among themselves, it's a pleasantry, sadistic event. Snide comments, chuckles, laughs, whatever. But, there's more and more tattooed freaks, and they're bringing it forth in the media to replace the black freaks that they've shoved through the media. And now it's people with lizard people with full sleeves of tattoos, and Mrs. Crabapple, who's got a piercing through the center of her nose. And who knows what's under her veil. But she's not going to do business with me because I've been painted the enemy, and I am a scapegoat. And I will suffer shortcomings of success based on that, and that's why they did it. If they want to seize the money and control finitely who gets what, that's what they do. They take that old model that I remember of being educated early in the 70s. They still had some of the old 40s and 50s education material around that showed, the portrayal of work and success, and they had it so simplified. They weren't believers of that ideology, even though they were pushing the content. They were already enamored in corruption, but they had that grade of educational material to where it was illustrative of, if you want to succeed, you go plow your field, or you roll your sleeves up and fix something, or you build something. And you get rewarded over and over, day in and out, by doing that to a welcome society of people with open arms, and have been modeled in the same way to see the social cue. If you're smiling and happy, and you're wearing clothes, and you're fit, and you're not missing an arm or a leg, and you can do a job, you're offered a job. Or if you want to learn, you're offered it. That's not so now, and that I'm stuck with that ideology in my head. I was for a long time. I don't now, but I see the reality. They get the weak and the willing, and they manipulate society, the individual, to where if they contort and bend and fit the manifest role of someone that they can condition through the processes of conditioning a perfect Manchurian for their use of corruption, they will. And they'll then put them through a normal system of a proper learning environment, because they know they already own those people. And they'll keep them dipped into episodes of sadism and bias and innuendo. But these people grow up and they're knowledgeable, like this digital printer I'm trying to figure out what I should do. You see these people and they look so degenerated now, or if they're not, they don't show their faces. They'll just show their hands or something and talk about a product. But if they're showing their whole form, their body, their face, their character, lately you'll see it's full sleeve tattoos, or some guy that looks like he ain't slept in a year and sort of got traits of Dow syndrome in him. Who knows? There's always something there that'll lend a power to the bias of corruption. And you don't get the information you really want. You get a vague tit-for-tat game because they're scared that they're going to make ripples. And they've highly choreographed their presentations to where you're really going to come away from their interaction and you wasting your time watching them with a doubt and still short on the knowledge that you were seeking to begin with. And that's the way society has been arranged. Whatever. Anyway, I know what I'm doing, and I know I'm not going to get a young female employee or partner because they've all been doused in that same illustrative context and conditioning that paints me the enemy. I'm the normal average white guy. And, I'm not a Christian and I don't fit the role of any of their stereotypes that are approved. I'm not going to hold hands with a black starving world and sing Kumbaya because they wore that one raggedy thin and used them as a violent, monstrous effect toward people like me. And they're still that way. They're all super moguls and rich and black gangsters and corrupt politicians and on, but there's nothing really legitimate about it. And they're never going to have to answer for their social force that they've dominated this country with. Because they didn't do nothing. It was Don. And he's the black nationalist, and he's this and that. And he's the guy responsible, whatever. And you talk to Don, he's already been conditioned to not remember any of it and could care less. He's a multinational. He's got all the world countries in his hip pocket. He ain't got to answer to anyone. So there it is. That's the terminus of my social plight. And I can live with that, whatever. Yeah. He's a buffoon. And people blindly praise him that have approached me and even said, thank God for Donald Trump. We're glad he's back. And he's acted outward as a buffoon, social cueing his various multinational, many racial differences, memberships with the same hubris that he did in 1984. It's fuck you, I'm arrogant and I'm totally corrupt, and that's what we're maintaining. And that's what rules the world and the roost and makes Mrs. Appleby smirk when you walk in her little shoddy shop that she got through government handouts anyway. Or she divorced Mr. Appleby and screwed him in the ass real good with a corrupt judge. And the reality that law is biased in this country and predispositioned to carry the dirty water of affirmative action conduit and total corruption. I'm not angry. I'm not disgruntled. I'm just in survival mode like I've been all my life. I've just told you more of the facts of the reality we live in. But back to what I'm wanting to do, which is the important message here, because I have no impure thoughts of raping little young Susie Q once I hire her in my employ, more so hoping that her boyfriend don't come up on a meth binge and blow my head off with a 357. I don't want anyone with a boyfriend or a string of black guys that follow her around, pimping her. That's more than likely what would show up if I did have money and the rumor got out that this dummy is trying to get a young female to work for him, thinking it's going to get him in Mrs. Applebee's door so he can drop off 20 shopping bag holders for a few weeks to see if she sells any of them. Because he's put Donald Trump on the handle of all of them. Or sports betting sports teams. Or Dolly Parton, or a bear or a beer bottle, whatever. Your favorite brand of cigarette, who knows? Or vape. But, why not try? Why not say, hey, little Miss Susie Q needs to come here and maybe get a job with me and work into a partnership of a very large, enormous potential. Instead, I get someone saying, I hope your thoughts are pure. No. I want a little young tattoo freak that's been in the adult film business for 5 years, who is loveless now, to come here so I can hit on her while I finish starving myself to death in the struggle of trying to pull myself out of all these troubles. Is it pure? Is she going to be pure? Chances are she's already got a record or is tied to such a deep depth of the social illustration in our society, she would be scary if you knew all the shit she's done. And she don't like to work, and she's got a bellyache that's just waiting to happen. But it will get me in the door of Mrs. Applebee's, and maybe I can find a normal person that would work 3 days a week with me, bending wires that hurt your hand after you do it for about 4 hours. Probably not. I don't know, but it's worth a shot, because it's going to get me in Mrs. Applebee's sweet little spot shop that 20 or 30 of the ladies visit daily, and if they see it, maybe they'll buy it. Or over in Dollywood, some of the souvenir shops, they see my big old gruff, rough ass walk in, and they're like, what the fuck do you want? Are you going to rob us? Are you going to break the place apart? Do we have to call the cops? It's all the preloaded innuendo that they're going to hit me with, and instead of focusing on, damn, you did a great job engineering that, sonny boy, let's get 50 of them in here. I can sell 50, come back in a few days and bring me 50 more. That's not going to happen. It takes a little Susie Q or a little black boy that they're willing to say, oh, yeah. Or some weird shit scenario, who knows. But no, it's not pure. I'm not putting my place up in hock in my car to get a business loan or a private loan. It won't be a business loan. And build all this out so I can induce a young female here to fuck my life away. Just shoot it right in the ass and say, fuck you all, bye. I don't think so. And to ask me publicly, I hope your intentions are pure, for a guy trying to sell these for $10 million with a clean severance? Get the fuck out of here. You're full of shit. So is Donald Trump. This is a tit for tat. You publicly want to molest me. Why does Donald Trump have such the audacity to act like an open derango from the start, because it's his second term, and his third, fourth, and fifth term because he has stolen all the money in society and pumped it into the gulag or the great affirmative action conduit, which you got to be on his pillar to get there. And he's going to molest you every way you can, probably replace you with a super advanced artificial simulation that we're all being basked with by the $100 million trillion space program that's got so many satellites above us hitting us with every kind of shit you can think of, to where every night when I sleep, they're playing HBO in my fucking head. There it is, boys and girls. And YouTube's ran by the communist arm of everything. So's the media. And they don't bat an eye from cutting my viewership down to some of their more sadistically starved agents making snide comments to me when I'm trying my best to do what I can to succeed at something that none of you all out there would ever do. You know, even if we were using 1 trillion shopping bags a year. Oh, but they did build a shopping bag holder. They've got them at Walmart. Or they've got the plastic ones, or I got this little sleeve tube and it just sticks them in and you can pull one out when you need it. Okay. Anyway, I'm looking for preferably 25 grand. Honestly, I'm looking for 10 million bucks so I can push this off on someone else. And they can say, we need a young girl to go into Mrs. Applebee's to sell these. And they would just say, fuck it, we're going to put them in Walmart and Lowe's and Home Depot and your local grocery store and your church and the police station and wherever. And they'd say, yeah, okay, you're a 10th level superiorian. Right on, brother. But that's what I'm really looking for. $10 million, buy them out, clean severance, and I'll just crawl my old ass down to the Keys and let you all have a field day. Hope I didn't step on the caterpillar. Anyway, yeah, I'd like to put a gravel parking lot in there so I can put about 10 cars, drive in right through there, flatten it out enough so they turn in and out and go, come and go. But really the sales would be from a young girl and me, because I probably wouldn't trust her to go to Mrs. Applebee's and everyone else down that row where they architecturally put the row of those type of things and go door to door and say, now run in there, little Susie, and smile and show her how to put a bag in and out of it and how fun it is and how sensible. And be sure to tell her that we'll bring 20 more in a week if she wants to call us or text us, and we'll give her as many as she can sell. And then some. But if I tried that, you know, I'm the guy that I wrote it in my header last night in my channel information. How was it? I don't know how to program robots. I don't know how to signal you guys neither. I think it takes a sleeve full of tattoos and the right sneers and cues and dry sadistic humor for you to indicate that it's someone like you. I'm not that guy. Wouldn't know how to do it. So this is what I know how to do. Just sit here and tell you what I'm doing. No, I don't want to hire a young female to molest. The DA hates hearing that because they love playing out the fantasy scenario of bad guy, molester, sheriff, go get him, bring him here before Judge Potato Chip, Judge Dorito Mountain Dew lady. We're going to roast this poor motherfucker and send him into the gulag. I've seen him do it to people. Oh, it's a ruthless cycle. And then the Manchurian communist who just posted on my video, I hope your intentions are pure. It might be the pastor, the damn communist. Anyway, the super communist stealth person, they probably rape and transport human smuggling day in and out until they probably got shackles in their basement. Who knows? Maybe the sheriff does. Or the military, they run drugs. Who knows? Who cares? But after all of my work, to have someone say, I hope your intentions are pure. Why do they have to be pure? Why can't I get an employee female that just really wants to be rich and will throw herself all over me? Huh? Good question. I'm disgruntled because I know that they have manipulated the cell phone tower in my line of sight to where it's going to take me an hour to upload this 25-minute video, which should take 5 minutes at the most. So this might be uploaded until midnight, as far as I know, but I hope you enjoy my video. And remember, this video ain't about all the reality that I've just mentioned that you can discredit and say he's crazy. Or he's a real evil guy and he's just hiding something. But remember, the point of this video is money. Money, 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 money. And the fact I've got a ironclad sound warranty deed for this very rare, expensive place that I'm sitting on. And a clear title to this car with 84,000 miles. And it runs like new. Bet you won't get that off a car lot. You're playing the lottery if you try. You know it and I know it. Yes, we do. Oh, they can have some pretty looking cars. I just read the story about the black gal of Atlanta that thought she had bought a Honda with low miles and they rolled the odometer back. That's right. They sold her a potato car. They sold her a potato car. And she made it on the evening news. So I'm willing to put this stuff up as securities for a business loan so I can build that 110-foot building here, buy the wire stretcher, the benders, the manual benders, because I can't afford an automated one. Because the government don't want me to have the right tools to succeed fluidly easy. They want to keep the odds stacked greatly against me because Don is a fucking retard. And he always will be. That's his intentions. He wants to be retarded and corrupt because he really don't run nothing. Matter of fact, when he sees something being ran right, that's what he's got to break. That's how they run this shit show. When something's working right, they're going to come in and break it because that's a lot easier than trying to run everything working the way it should be. It's easier when enough idiots fix something to make it work right that they can bring the world focus in and fuck it up. Yep, there it is. I'm Jason Faulkner, a.k.a. Shop Weasel. I desperately need money. And I'll do what I got to do to get it just so I can make these shopping bag holders there and shove them out to all of you happy people out there. And hopefully you'll pay as much as I can trick you into paying or convince you to pay for my little shopping bag holders or the big government entity, which is all robot Donnie land. You know, everybody real rich, they are dedicated level 10 Donnie Orthodox, high priest of corruption. And they will burn the fucking world before they come down and buy me out. Yes, they will. But we'll see. Have a good one. Holler if you're interested in anything. Bye.